So, you want to do a Pokemon randomizer, but you don't know how? Well, first and foremost, let me get this out of the way. This video is proudly sponsored by Quoorn's Quest over on YouTube. Quoorn's Quest on YouTube provides you with awesome content for your everyday life. All you have to do is go over to Quoorn's Quest on YouTube, subscribe to stay up to date, and you get awesome, entertaining content, as well as a new feature he's rolling out where there's going to be some educational stuff, once-a-week videos as well. So you can now expect 2 videos from Quoorn's Quest over on YouTube, and that is tonight's sponsor. Thank you so much, Quoorn, for sponsoring tonight's stream. Really appreciate it. So first and foremost, you want to learn to randomize. So some things that I learned, or some things that I needed to learn before I started randomizing, was terminology. So I was really confused by, I would just say, how do I get a Pokemon Fire Red emulator? Google didn't like that because an emulator and a ROM are 2 very different things. An emulator is essentially the game console. So I use OpenEMU, or OpenEMU. I use OpenEMU, or OpenEMU, however you want to pronounce it. And the game is called a ROM. So that's something to learn from the get-go. So if you want just a Pokemon game, what you need to be searching and what will help you in your search results come up faster is Pokemon Fire Red ROM, not Pokemon Fire Red emulator. What you see on my screen right now is OpenEMU. This is what you download. It will be, when you download it, it's going to download to your computer, whether you're on a Mac or a Windows device, makes a difference. It will come to you in either a zip file or one of those compressed files that Windows has, and it's an application. You have to unzip it, run it, and it will give you this. And so over here, you have an OpenEMU, at least, you have all these different game options, or console options, I should say. So we get everything from Atari 2600 all the way to the Wonder Swan or Virtual Boy. It's nuts. It's kind of crazy. And it's really easy to use because all you have to do is take the file and just drop it, drag and drop games here. It's literally that easy. It tells you how to do it. I would recommend downloading OpenEMU just because it's super, super simple. So from there, you're going to want your ROM, your game. I have Pokemon Fire Red version loaded up. So what you're going to want to do is search into Google or something, whatever you're using, Pokemon Fire Red ROM. And this is where you're going to want to be really, really careful. Whenever you're downloading this stuff, you want to be so, so careful that you don't accidentally download something else. You want to make sure you read all the pages correctly and fully understand that you're clicking the right download link. If you click the download link and then it prompts you with something else, more than likely you don't want to click that. You want to make sure you either click out of it, and if you notice the download stops, then maybe leave the page, or maybe that's what your page needs to continue on. If you notice that it is still downloading in the bottom corner and you get prompted to download a Flash player or something, do not download that. For the love of Arceus, do not download anything else that it tries to get you to download. Most likely, it's a virus, and you're going to be really, really upset because you won't be able to play your game. So again, your ROM file is going to come in a zipped file. On a Mac, it's a zip file. On a Windows, it's going to be a compressed file. So you're going to want to extract that zip file or compressed file, whatever it is, and then you're going to get the ROM file, which is going to be, in my case, it's labeled Pokemon-Fire Red version .gba. So Game Boy games are .gba, and so like my Soul Silver game, DS games are .nds. So they do kind of organize themselves for you, which is really, really nice. You need to drop it into the correct, I tried dropping it last night into the Game Boy. Game Boy Advance is what it was. It needed the Game Boy Advance. I should have remembered that. But this is the Fire Red. I have this game. So if I click this game right now, if I double clicked it, it would open the game, it would play like normal. This is just your straightforward Fire Red game. But we don't want to play that. We all played that as kids. We want to play a completely randomized version. What you're then going to want to download, unfortunately there are a ton of downloads. Again, be so careful. Be so careful. And the next thing is we're going to open our universal randomizer. So the universal randomizer is again going to come in this big file. And in this one though, it's going to have a lot of different folders and things in it. What you're going to want, it's going to be labeled randomizer.jar. This is the randomizer. This is the universal Pokemon randomizer. Right now, as you can see, everything is blocked out. I can't do anything to this. Why? Because there is no ROM loaded. It tells you at the top, ROM information. It's kind of like where you would put your Game Boy file, or like your Game Boy cartridge, or your DS cartridge, or whatever cartridge. So what you want to do is open your ROM. It's going to prompt you with a menu. I've run into this issue where I have to drag over from OpenEmu instead of just finding the file in there. If you drag it over, I found that works just as well. It'll pop up. You do have to specify the file type, or you have to make sure the file format is on the correct one. Usually if it's a Nintendo file, like it kind of defaults to the correct file right off the bat, but you just want to make sure that you're uploading a .gba or .nds file, and you want to make sure that the universal randomizer is set to .gba or .nds files. And then you're going to open it. It's going to load. It's going to give you a cute little Pokemon. It's completely randomized every time. What are the odds? Now, what you can do is if you do this often, you can load your settings, you can save your settings. That way, you don't have to do this step by step every single time. So let's go through Pokemon-based statistics is where we're going to start. I tend to leave that on unchanged because, again, that makes it really hard. If you hover, it does tell you some things. You're not seeing them on the screen, but what I'm seeing is if I hover over this unchanged, it gives me a little tab that says, don't change Pokemon stats from the base at all. If I go to random, it tells me, randomizes each Pokemon's stats as long as they fall within the original base stat total. This can make Pokemon stronger or weaker if they get unlucky or lucky rolls on stats they need. Evolutions of a Pokemon will be created separately from the Pokemon unless you checked follow evolutions. So luckily this does a really good job of kind of helping you get through it if this is your first time using it. It was super helpful for me. All you gotta do is hover over the little checkboxes and it tells you what they do. Moving on to abilities. You can do that unchanged. What I'm gonna do is randomize. Now that gives me some new options because there are some Pokemon abilities, as we all know, that are very difficult to deal with. One of them is Wonder Guard. So the first checkbox you can see is allow Wonder Guard. So if you leave that unchecked, Pokemon will not have Wonder Guard. If you check it, they will have Wonder Guard. You can follow evolutions, which means the ability will follow the evolution or it'll change upon evolution. So I'm gonna leave that unchecked because if a Pokemon maybe has Truant and it can evolve, it might develop Wonder Guard. It might develop something else. It might develop Levitate. But if it follows evolutions, no matter what that Pokemon evolves into, it will always have Truant, which isn't always the best for a Nuzlocke. And then you can ban abilities as well down here. So you can ban trapping abilities, which I tend to do. So I'm gonna allow negative abilities because I'm getting rid of the trapping ability. I wanna still give myself a little bit of difficulty with the allowing of negative abilities. And because, you know, if a Pokemon's sleepy, a Pokemon is sleepy. I'm not one to judge. So then we're gonna move down to Pokemon types. This, like the other categories, you can do unchanged random, follow evolutions, or random completely. I usually leave this unchanged. That way my Geodude is a rock ground type. If it evolves into a Salamence, I know it will be a dragon flying type. But if I hit random, every Pokemon will just get its new random types. And some Pokemon that were monotypes might now be dual types. This can be kind of fun if you do have all the random abilities on, because you might get an electric Pokemon with Levitate and you develop a Pokemon God that can't be taken down by any weaknesses. Now we're getting to the random evolutions. This is my current bread and butter. If you watch Quoorn's Quest over on Twitch or my YouTube videos, you know that this is what I do a lot. I love the randomized evolutions. So you can either leave that unchanged, play very vanilla, or randomize. And that opens up all these different options for you. So then what opens up is you can do similar strength, same typing, limit evolutions to 3 stages, force change impossible evos, make evolutions easier. That's a lot. And this is when you have to start considering what your other checkboxes were. So randomized evolutions. Because I have it randomized, I need to make sure that I'm okay with my Pokemon types. Unchanged means that whatever it evolves into, my Geodude is going to stay a rock ground type, it evolves into Salamence, it's going to stay a dragon flying type. If it random follow evolutions, then what's going to happen is if the Geodude's dragon type evolves into Salamence, Salamence will stay a dragon type. It won't get anything random, it won't do anything else. Random completely means that Geodude is a dragon type, it evolves into Salamence, Salamence becomes a fire steel type. You don't know. So you want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what boxes you checked. Same with abilities. Same with abilities up here. If your Pokemon abilities randomized, follow evolutions. If you want a Pokemon to have the ability to follow it the entire game, then you want to make sure that is checked, because no matter what Pokemon it evolves into, it will keep that ability. If you don't have that checked, your Geodude evolves into Salamence, maybe the Geodude has Levitate. It evolves into Salamence, it will keep it if you have that box checked. If you don't have it checked, then Salamence might get Solar Power. You don't know. Limit evolutions to 3 stages. So when you're a Pokemon, say you have a Phanpy. A Phanpy normally evolves into Donphan. That's a 1 evolution stage. Say you have a Phanpy, and say it evolves into a Shiftry randomly in this game. How that works is the Phanpy will evolve at the level it's supposed to. The Pokemon it evolves into will be randomized. If it evolves into a Pokemon that can no longer evolve, it stops. Now we're gonna go to starter Pokemon. So the starter Pokemon, you can have, again, a lot of different options. You can leave that unchanged, which means they're gonna be the same 3 starter Pokemon of the original game. In my case, Fire Red. I'll have Bulbasaur, Squirtle, a Charmander. I wanna change that. I don't want that. So I can do custom. So I can pick my starter Pokemon. This will give me options for every Pokemon possible to find in Fire Red. A Pokemon Fire Red goes up to Generation 3. So you have from Kanto through Hoenn to choose from. Change that, and you can also randomize starter held items and then ban bad items. I don't want custom though. I want to do random completely, because then you can also do random basic Pokemon with 2 evolutions. A little vanilla. But you can do random completely, which means you can get a Magikarp, a Deoxys, and maybe like a Dusclops. I don't know. On to move data. So you can randomize move power, which is super chaotic. Randomize move accuracy, also chaotic. Randomize move power points. So a move that normally only has 5 power points might actually now have 20. A move that has 35 might only have 5. Again, it's up to you. Randomize move types, also kind of wild. This stuff mainly plays into if you've really gone off the deep end with the other stats, and randomizing move types can definitely help in a randomized typing playthrough, because Tackle might be a dark type and your Lailoon might now be a dark type instead of a normal type. Pokemon movesets. Again, I also do unchanged. So the Pokemon will learn the moves they're supposed to learn. Trainer Pokemon. This is really easy. You can do unchanged, rivals carry starter through game, randomized trainer names, randomized trainer class names, or you can do random, which means they all get random Pokemon. If you don't check rival carry starter Pokemon through game, they will get a random starter. They'll get a random team every single time. Be sure to check no early Wonder Guard, because that will ruin your game. No Pokemon is super effective to normal type moves. If your opponent has Wonder Guard right off the bat, you will have to struggle yourself to win. And you can also do don't use legendaries. I think it's more fun. What they don't tell you is they do, so if on Route 1 you encounter a legendary Pokemon, it will be the appropriate level of Pokemon in Route 1 and have the appropriate movesets. You're not going to encounter a level 50 Pokemon on Route 1. So just letting you know that. If you don't want to use legendaries, no one will use legendaries. If you do want to use legendaries, they will be at the appropriate level of the game. The levels stay the same because that's how the game works. You can't really adjust that. So wild Pokemon, you can do unchanged, which means you're gonna find a Zigzagoon where Zigzagoons are. Don't change wild Pokemon at all. They're all gonna be the same. I use random, And then what you can do is additional rules, none, similar strength, catch 'em all mode. Catch 'em all mode is kind of fun. It means if this is turned on, every random Pokemon chosen to replace an encounter will be one that hasn't been chosen before. Set minimum catch rate, I bumped that up to a 2, just because you can find legendaries. It's kind of nice to be able to like catch them. Static Pokemon, these are gonna be your legendaries and electrodes and things like that. You can do unchanged, so they're whatever what they originally are. Then you could do a random legend to legend or normal to normal. So if you're going to do the Moltres battle, it won't be Moltres, but it will be a legendary Pokemon. If you go up to where the electrodes are, where they're disguised as Pokeballs, it will not be a legendary Pokemon. It'll just be a regular normal Pokemon. I like to do random completely because I think it's really funny if you go up against, say, a Mewtwo, and then you're actually going up against a Magikarp at level like 60. Now we get to TMs and HMs. TM moves. I do unchanged just because I do always hit full HM compatibility. It just means that every Pokemon can learn HMs. Doesn't matter the type, doesn't matter what they are, they can always learn an HM move. Like your Moltres could learn Surf if you wanted it to. It's kind of like when you play the new games where they kind of got rid of HMs, and that way, especially in a Nuzlocke, you can build your party however you see fit. You don't have to delete Pokemon, you don't have to keep running back and forth because you need Cut. Every Pokemon can learn Cut, every Pokemon can learn Surf, every Pokemon can learn Fly. Gets a little broken, but it makes it a whole lot easier. Field items, you can do Unchanged, Shuffle, which just means all the original items in that game you can find, they're just all shuffled around. Or you can do Randomize completely, which means you can find like 30 EXP shares if you want to. You can ban bad items, which means you have higher chances of finding multiple EXP shares and things like that, but I don't mess with it. And then your miscellaneous tweaks, you can do fast tags, randomized catching tutorial, which is fun because sometimes they kill it. Running shoes indoors, that's sometimes good. For this one, yes. Give national decks at start, absolutely. Lowercase Pokemon names, that's aesthetic. Ban Lucky Egg. Okay, so once you have all that, what you're gonna do is either gonna do save settings, you're gonna save all the settings, you'll save that in a file on your desktop or on your computer or whatever, and then you can load those files in later. What I'm gonna do is do the randomized save. So hit randomize save, and I need to save this as. So I'm gonna say, for tonight, I'm just gonna call this Fire Red Demo. And then you have to tell it where to go. I'm gonna go to my desktop folders, and it's gonna prompt you with a, do you want to save a log file of the randomization performed? This may allow you to gain an unfair advantage. Do not do so if you're doing something like a race. I just hit no, just cause. And you can produce the file as well. This is gonna be for like, it's the seed details type of thing. Your game has been successfully randomized. Below are the settings you can give to other people to produce the same randomization you just did. It's just your settings. You can produce the file, that way you can move it around and stuff. I'm just gonna hit done for right now, and then clears it all out. You can see I now can't click anything because that ROM has been removed. I now have to put that into my OpenEmu file. See that right there? I'm going to drag this game, just like I did with the other one, drag it in. It's loading. There we go, Fire Red Demo. So now time to test it. Will this work? There we go. You can see that the game is working. And we have Professor Oak, who's gonna take us through the regular gameplay type of thing. We're already randomized, so it's already off to a good start. So, first Pokemon is a Growlithe. Okay, so this will randomly evolve, but it will randomly evolve with a Firestone. Keep that in mind. Do you want to go with the Fire Pokemon Growlithe? No. What's my next option? It's a Claydol. This is a fully evolved Pokemon, but because it's going to be level 5, it will not have super strong moves, if any damaging moves at all. Typically, when you find a Lugia in one of these balls, it only has Whirlwind, because that's the move it can learn first. So keep that in mind. This Pokemon may not have any damaging moves. It might only have Confuse Ray, even though it looks very, very powerful. Last one is a Trapinch. Trapinch is your choice. So out of the 3, we have Growlithe that's gonna evolve with a stone, Claydol is not gonna evolve at all, and it might not have any damaging moves, or Trapinch that will evolve naturally, have some damaging moves. I think Trapinch is the way to go. Okay, summary. It's ground type. It has compound eyes, so my accuracy is raised, which is awesome. And my moves are bite, perfect for going up against the psychic type. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Quoorn's Quest. And if you really enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite moment was. And as always, I go live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central over on Twitch. The link to that and all my other social media are down in the description below. Happy questing.